So Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya to all of the viewers of Ambedkar Caravan, and it is really a privilege to introduce and invite our elder in the movement who loves to call himself Upasaka Iyanban, and but he is a man who is totally devoted to the movement of Babasaheb Ambedkar and to the movement of Buddhism. Not just in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, he has been working for a long time, more than 30-40 years of his life, or maybe more than 50 years. He has been constantly working among the people, and from last 20 years he has been a very active member of BLIA, the Buddhist Light International Association, which was founded by Venerable Master Xing Yun from Taiwan. And he's one of his fascinating work is to bring out the publication in Tamil and distribute across the communities. So in a way, he's playing his role in the Buddhist revival movement in Tamil Nadu. And during the lockdown, he was also not quietly, he was of course locked down in the home, but he was arranging a lot of online seminars and lectures of people all over Tamil Nadu, and finding that opportunity to create a bridge for communication between the people. So he's somebody to whom we can look up to as a soldier in Babasaheb Ambedkar and the Buddhist movement, and we can learn a lot from his life. Today, on this occasion of 65th anniversary celebration of Pradhamma Diksha, we will hear directly from Anban sir, and we will try to understand what are the dynamics of the Buddhist revival movement in Tamil Nadu. So sir, welcome, Jai Bhim Namo Buddhaya, and I would now request sir to please make his presentation. Sir, welcome.
Jai Bhim Namo Buddhaya. On this 65th anniversary of Dhamma Diksha Day celebration, I pay my respect to Triple Jump and to the great leader Babasaheb Dr. Ambedkar. Dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, thank you for all for the opportunity to join Bodhikariya Dhamma Diksha celebration, the virtual program. Once again, my special thanks to Brother Mangesh. Buddhist revival movement in Tamil Nadu is our title for discussion. Dear brothers, long beginning late. It is a Western scholar's proverb that recollecting me that same two great incidents shaped this Buddhist world. The first is undertaken by Bodhisattva Siddhartha Gautama, renounced his palace in search of truth 2660 years ago. The caravan moves out from the palace. The second incident, the great Babasaheb Dr. Ambedkar, the savior of untouchable, the great conversion, the mosque conversion in 1956 that shaped today Buddhist India. Buddhism today grown into a great religion of world with a large followers of its own. As Buddhism spread, it wielded a great influence all over India because of Babasaheb Dr. Ambedkar. Protest against casteless system, establishing equality among all of people, involving the masses in preaching the religion, through local languages. Buddhism became popular movement and oppressed people in India found solace and comfort in Buddhism. Buddhism was there in Tamil Nadu even in Sangam age. It saw its golden age during AD 400 and 700. The genesis of Bhakti movement in 6th century led the collapse of Buddhism and Jainism. Except Manimegalai, the great epic Buddhist literary works were destroyed and sublime principles of Buddhism submerged in Hinduism. Dr. Shu Hikoshaka, a Japanese research scholar under Institute of Asian Studies, who examined the long history of Buddhism in South India, literature was a purposive and fruitful to the present day Buddhist use. So Dr. Mailai Sini Venkadasamy, Dr. Vasudeva Rao, Dr. Sona Kandasamy also traced the early Buddhism. According to Bhikkhu Shangarakita, the revival movement of modern Buddhist movement organized in 1891 when Anagarika Dharmapala founded Mahabodhi Society in his maiden speech at Parliament of Religion in 1893, which leads to introduce Western world, Buddhism in the Western world and Far East countries. As rightly pointed out by Bhikkhu Shangarakita, the most decisive and far-reaching event of modern India occurred 14th October 1956. When our savior Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar embraced Buddhism with millions of followers. Today, Buddhism is a household word and become living hope of millions of people all over in India as well as in Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Buddhism that started at the end of 19th century with reference to the effect of Pandit Ayodhidasa in reviving Tamil Buddhism and the efforts impacted new Buddhist movements and also initiated by Baba Sahib, accredited leader of the untouchable in India to revive Buddhism. Colonel Henry Olcott, 1832-1907, had sown the seeds of Buddhist revivalism, later followed by Pandit Ayodhidasa. Professor Lakshmi Narasu, 1860-1934, nurtured. Colonel Henry Olcott and Madam H.P. Blavatsky became Buddhist and privately working in promoting Buddhism individually and not as a president of Theosophical Society Madras. Later, both along with Anagarika Dharmapala, founded Panchama Free School for Depressed in Madras. Pandit K. Ayodhidasa, South India Sakya Buddhism. Later, Pandit changed the name as South Indian Buddhist Association with branches in South India is another points for the revival of Buddhism in Tamil Nadu. Professor P. Lakshmi Narasu, Mr. M. Singaravelar, Mr. G. Appadurayar, Mr. A. P. Periyasamy Pulavar, Mr. E. N. Ayyakannu Pulavar, Murugesa Bhagavathar, associated with Pandit Ayodhidasa, and all of them are the eminent scholar and author of many Buddhist books in Tamil. Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar praised Professor Lakshmi Narasu as a prodigy of last century. As Professor Lakshmi Narasu, his book Essence of Buddhism in 1907 with a preface from Anagariga Dharmapala, the first Buddhism conference held in 1917 that was resolved to submit a memorandum to the British ruler Montagu Semsford demanding political right to Adi Dravida. Political rights to Adi Dravida, Buddhist leader represented from Mysore, Hyderabad, Madras, Colombo, Rangoon, and part in the conference. The next conference was held in Kolar Goldfield in the year 1932, and Vellore and Tirupattur. These are all the states in Tamil Nadu, districts in Tamil Nadu. The renaissance of Buddha commenced in India in the 19th century. The non-Brahmin leader like E.V. Ramasamy Periyar and Narayana Guru lived in the beginning of the 19th century, fought against Brahmanism tirelessly for the emancipation of downtrodden, looked upon Buddha as a guiding star and were inspired by principles of Buddhism. So Buddhist Tamil literatures, I wish to make a small quote that many Buddhist scholars contributed to Buddhism in Tamil literature during 19th and 20th century. The Manimekalai, the great epic, the 5 epics out of 1, the Manimekalai is Buddhist epic. This was written later stage by a non-Brahmin, Krishnaswamy Iyengar, who contributed. Buddhism of Manimekalai, another book, Buddha and Tamil, another book, Tirukkural and as Trikural by Ayodhidasa Pandita, Tirukkural and Dhammapadam, another book, as The Light of Asia, in Tamil, Asiya Jodi by Desiga Vinayagam Pillai, Gundalagesi, another epic. The Light of Asia was again translated. I am a dramatist by Pammal Sambandam. The Tamil poet admiration for the artistic excellence that Buddhism as an embodiment of lasting values of our culture. Buddhist centers, particularly very important centers, Buddhism in Tamil country, particularly Tamil Nadu, Madurai, Nagapattinam, Kanchipuram, and Madras. The many historical evidences are still available with the archaeological department, and some excavations are also available for the scholarly contribution of Buddhists. Buddhism from Tamil Nadu in revival movement started before Christ, 3rd century, and lived until 13th century after death. So during this period, we can able to read the history, the following leaders, that is Ilambodiyar, Seethalai Sathanar, Mani Mekalai, Nachithanar, Buddha Datta, Buddha Ghosha, Dharmapala, Dinaga, Bodhidhamma, Buddhamma Kirti, Vajra Bodhi, Buddha Mitra, Anuruddha, Kashyapa. All are from South India. And importantly, most of us know Bodhidhamma is from Kanchipuram, who went to China and founded Zen Buddhism. So besides we Buddhists, many sects. So we know the sect, Mahayana, Vajrayana, Theravada, so many. The today's Buddhist population around the world, approximately 650 million, around 175 countries. It is a big proud, we all being a Buddhist, and Buddha and Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar are from India. The soil is moving, just what Mangesh was telling, the caravan is moving all over the world, around 175 countries. So, for example, in Asia alone, leave behind the sect, but the population in Asia 500 million population, North America 4 million population, North America and Europe 1.5 million, Latin Caribbean 5 lakhs people. After 260 years of Buddha's Parinibbana, recently in Tamil Nadu, many Buddhist organizations, and particularly in the villages, Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar, Buddha and his Dhamma Tamil is a reading syllabus in the hutment of the night school or weekend class or holiday class. So Buddhism in Tamil Nadu, besides we have differences. That's why I gave you example, different sect. So the Buddhism is very proudly and fastly developing in the country. So Buddha and Baba Saheb, Buddha and his Dhamma of Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar, Tamil book was now a syllabus, and we are trying our best to bring it in the Tamil Nadu syllabus, and most of our Buddhist brother become a member of state assembly. So we are pursuing to make Buddha and his Dhamma, and we are pursuing them to make more effort to revival of Buddhism in this land. So I want to go, before closing, there was a quote, there was a discussion between the blessed one and the Sakka. Who succeeds in disentangling the tangle? The inner and outer tangle and the generation. Which is entangled in the tangle? The question was raised. What he meant was, who is capable of disentangling it? The excelling Sakka wielded of 10 powers, uttered the stanza and replied. All seers uttered their stanza in reply. when a wise man establishing well in virtue develop consciousness and understanding, then the bhikkhus ardent and sagacious, he succeeds in disentangling the tangle. So while disentangling the tangle, Baba Sahib was, and in his Buddha is the more referring, Paradanya, Pradanya is the word necessary for every stage. This is what every stage of development we needs Paradanya in everyone, that should be along with the accompanied by the Sila. So this is the very good Baba Sahib Ambedkar's message of this day. And with this information, I wish to close my small lecture with you. And I thank Mr. Mangesh and all the listeners of YouTube channel. And thank you. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing. In the brief 20 minutes, you have taken us through the history of Buddhism. And we are very grateful to you for making your presence here and listening to the Buddhist movement in Tamil Nadu is always very interesting, because Tamil Nadu has been a place where a lot of great Buddhist teachers were born, as you told about Bodhidhamma, Digna, Dharmapal, and the great Buddhist teachers were born here. And Tamil Nadu and the South India in general was like a switching board for the world, because when people traveled by ship to the eastern world, or when people traveled from the eastern world to the west, Tamil Nadu was a place where people halted. And I think the Buddhism in Tamil Nadu holds a very deep secret for the future of Buddhism in India. I was just curious to know, sir, that when Pandit Ayatitas developed the Buddhist movement, and the Tamil diaspora is very huge.
Yes,
Tamil diaspora in Southeast Asia, Tamil diaspora in Africa, South Africa, everywhere.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about the extent to which because I read that the South Indian Buddhist Association had a branch in Nagpur also.
Sometime back, not now.
Not now, in the past.
Yeah.
In the past. So this information was so critical, like we think of South Indian Buddhism just like in Tamil Nadu, but the branch was also in Nagpur that time. So
Yeah.
I think that people used to go there for the railway work.
Correct.
And that's how, and people went to South Africa for their work, and they had a branch of South Indian Buddhist Association. So in these last 60-70 years, a lot of things have gone down, went up. So sir, how do you see the beauty, how do you see the future of Buddhism in the Tamil speaking diaspora, Tamil Nadu? How do you see it? Do you see that there is a possibility of having that pan Tamil Buddhism coming into I would say not reality, but coming with a force?
Yes, in fact, it is Baba Sahib was very sad while before his death. I read a book that I am disappointed with the scholars.
That's true.
It is not. It is a different period, definitely. So 65 years back, definitely it may be he may be experienced some bitterness. Whereas it is not today. Today, most of the scholars, the person who enjoyed the reservation, the scholars, I want to mention the white scholars, have come forward to establish many institutions. Institution means small awareness class. I was just now mentioning about the night school, day school, tuition centers, everything free. And they even established a center. They started giving tuition or the discussion about Buddha syllabus, school syllabus, they start with Panchasila, Sri Saranam Panchasila. So many people doesn't know even Sri Saranam Panchasila, whereas our white scholars only doing that. So even many people started building their own Buddhist centers. So this is a good development. So we must not worry about the world 64 years back, but it is realizing. So just now it is coming to reality in Tamil Nadu.
Very good, very good, very good, very good, sir. Very good. So I think the history of the as Pandit Adityadas and Appadurai sir and all these people, great people, they revived our identities also.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Adi Dravida, the identity of Adi Dravida, when people were talking about Hindu identity, Dravida identity, people went back in the time and talked about the Adi Dravida identity.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
then ultimately linked up with Buddhism. So you think, sir, that Buddhism is a part of a solution of for emancipation from the shackles of untouchability and the caste system, sir?
I mean, that your question will take little more time. The equanimity, we call it, you know.
Yes.
So equality or equanimity. So it is now, this is the generation following and what is untouchability, practicing untouchability. But the governments should come forward to make a light to dispel this darkness. So this is Mangesh or Upasaka and Ben. What cannot do, but government can do.
Right.
So the leaders can do. So that is what my expectation too, that it is possible also. So we should unitedly together we must make represent the government.
Yes.
So even recent government is very much positive. Particularly they started to say Buddhist pilgrimage. And I was told that the government is going to introduce Buddhist chair in some university. The government of India also coming forward to establish Buddhist conferences in all the Indian university to UGC. So two institution, Buddhist institution, that Nalanda University and another university in UP. They are coming forward to establish Buddhist hub.
Very interesting.
So this is supported by the present government, and they are initiated by these two universities to organize many conferences, Buddhist related conferences in all the university in India.
Very good.
So this is very important because the government UGC is the powerful
body.
Yes. So again, what you said, coming true, coming to reality. So maybe next generation can enjoy the values of Buddha Dhamma. Even my organization, Buddha Light International Association, also coming forward to organize many Dhamma study centers. So we are representing them and they also coming forward. So the working methodology to introduce private small tuition centers. So these are all going.
That's very good, sir. Sir, please, just a last question, sir. Please tell us about what the about your organization, what Buddha Light International has been doing in Tamil Nadu and other parts of our country, because you have been associated with it for a long time. I think since they started working in India. So please share about your organization a bit, and then we will conclude.
So in fact, Buddha Light International Association has its registered office in California, and the monastic heads living in Taiwan. So Master Sing Yun is the founder of the organization. Chennai, Fo Guang Shan Buddhist, Fo Guang Shan Centers and Buddha Light are two wings of the same organization. Most of the Fo Guang Shan centers are by monastic centers. So there it was a vigara almost, all the countries.
Right.
And they are more important subject to promote is education. We know Baba Saheb Ambedkar also important education.
Yes.
The same line, Buddha Light also having more than 5 universities in California, US, University of West, and Australia, in Taiwan, and also they are having a Buddhist college in Bodh Gaya.
Wow.
So in addition, they are having more than 15 colleges and hospitals. So they are having a lot of mobile libraries, publication centers in New Delhi. So they are publishing Master Sing Yun and the and his books into Indian languages.
It's very interesting.
So Buddha Light Art and Living is the name of the center in New Delhi. That was established sometime 5-10 years back. I too had an opportunity to translate their book, Humanistic Buddhism. That is the concept of the teachings. Master Sing Yun say that Buddha born as Sakyamuni, Gautama, as a human being, is search for truth. The suffering.
Yes.
So he is searching for truth and gave a solution. That is Eightfold Path. So this is the teaching for human beings. They're the everyday living. So this is what Master Sing Yun's very important message. And still he was living at the age of 95. The last September, they celebrated 95th birthday of Master Sing Yun. So in my opinion, what Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar was established is Buddhist movement. Almost Master Sing Yun also, the very same ideology, very same for human beings. He is not giving any superstitious messages. And is questioning, Master Sing Yun, referring Buddha's question. And he also telling, Tripitaka is very vast. A man needs to read the entire Tripitaka one lifespan.
Right.
So it is not so easy to understand also. But it is true. It is the right message, the true message of Buddha. So the humanistic Buddhism, people must understand, and just like the sugarcane juice, it is condensed as a juice in the name of humanistic Buddhism. People must read, understand, and practice.
Yes.
So in totally, the another concept is only 3 words: speak good, do good, speak good, think good.
Think good. Yes.
So this is the concept of Tripitaka, entire Tripitaka.
Yes.
For a single man. If a single man practice doing good, speaking good, thinking good, the world will face peace and
Yes.
harmony.
Very true.
So this is what Master Shin Yun's message for the human beings.
Sir, thank
It's
you.
not only that, they are having most of the peoples Mandarin or Chinese speaking people. And they are doing business also. In addition, the spiritual development is very, very important for a human being, for his everyday peaceful, joyful living.
Very true. True.
So they even asking me and discussing with other people to establish Buddha Light International, a chapter in Maharashtra, Bombay. I was told that Bhikkhu Ananda, he was also attending a conference, and he was asked to organize a center in Maharashtra, a chapter in Maharashtra.
Good.
So I don't know what Bhante was doing, but it is very important for Indian people, particularly. There are very, they are giving meritorious activity. So meritorious activity during the COVID-19 period, more than 800 oxygen concentrators donate to the Indian continent. So each continent, that particularly oxygen concentrator cost nearly 55,000 rupees each. So they donate to the government hospital, and all hospitals, without asking them. They asked me, okay, tell me how many bed, what is the address, who is the doctor?
Wow.
I gave the details. So, knowing I know few doctors, and I requested my friends to give me a list of doctors. So they sent each one government general hospital in Bangalore got 20 oxygen concentrator.
Very good.
Which 150 beds they have.
Very good.
So such and the Calcutta chapter has given some oxygen concentrator to Mother Teresa Center.
Very good.
And some Gurudwara, some Islamic hospitals.
Very fascinating.
They don't ask, do you want? No, they gave without any expectation.
Very nice.
Yes. So this is the generosity that they learned from Tathagata, and they taking it to practice. So this is simple information about what we call Buddha Light International Association.
Yes, sir.
So they are planning to have a national registered body in India. It may be come true in the 2022. Good. And make all the membership and all donation, membership fee, expense, everything through e account, e-membership.
Yeah.
So they want to be more practical and avoiding the misuse and bitter experiences they have already in their establishment.
Right.
So thank you.
Anvan sir, thank you so much for devoting your time. I know that today is a big day for you. You have got programs to attend, and you are a man of people, so always busy, but thank you so much for taking out this time to talk to people at large through this Ambedkar Karwan Media, and we hope that we continue to strive together for bringing back the Buddha Dhamma in this land. Thank you so much, sir. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Namo Buddhaya. The
Yes.
background of me is last October 19th General Human Conference, Scholars Conference held in Singapore.
Very
So
good.
it is a background.
Yes.
It is not today's program.
It's an interesting background, though. So
Yes,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Namo Buddhaya. Jai Bhim.